Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us in our second episode for My Career in Tech. Welcome on board the distinguished speakers, that our moderator, and also the fellows of 3MTT. Today's topic is recipe for successful technical talent. What you need to succeed beyond skills. And they're going to share with us a lot of insights from their career journey, and we will learn a lot from them. So welcome on board, Gift, and I will hand this discussion over to our able moderator, who is Ada Nduka. Sorry. Hello.
Hi, Mira. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. With me is Gift. I think our other moderator, the main moderator, Ada Nduka, is she with us? Can't see her.
She just joined.
Yeah, she's with us. She's trying to join. So welcome, Gift. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Hello, Ada. Are you with us? Hello,
Hi,
Ada.
yes, I am. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clear. Okay. So I would like to hand over this discussion to you now to take us through this episode, the second episode. Thank you.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ada Nduka Oyom, and I am excited to be here. My apologies, I'm unable to turn on my camera at the time because I am currently at an event. I'm also having another speaking engagement, but I'm happy to be moderating this conversation. I'm looking forward to all the valid conversations and important conversations that we're going to be having. And I think we can just go ahead. I would go on to introduce our guests. But a little bit about me, I am the founder of She Code Africa, which is a nonprofit organization that is training and empowering girls and women in tech across Africa. I am also the community manager for Sub-Saharan Africa at Google. So I would introduce our first guest. I can already see her. Hi, Gift. It's good to meet you.
Hi, Ada. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. So Gift is a developer advocate at Cloudflare. And she flew in all the way from Amsterdam. She's currently in Nigeria, which is a huge thing. So I think I would give you the floor to do a little bit of intro about yourself to the audience before I introduce the next speaker.
Okay, sure. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Gift, like Ada mentioned. I work as a developer advocate at Cloudflare, but I'm also a very big community person. Like she said, I'm in Nigeria. I'm here for a few conferences that I hosted like a few weeks ago. Apart from that, I am also very big in teaching and sharing my knowledge. So I do teach boot camps. I make videos on technical topics. I make courses for people interested in learning web development and a bunch of other things. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Thank you very much, Gifts. And that was an amazing introduction. I will call on the next guest. I can see Musti Mustafa. Hi, Musti.
Hi, Ada. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you so much, Musti, for joining. For those who don't know Musti, he is the CTO and co-founder at Kuda. Kuda is one of the top financial services in Nigeria, but I would give him the floor to also give a little bit intro on himself and what he does as well. So, Musti, over to you.
Thanks, Ada. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Musti Mustafa, CTO and co-founder of Kuda. Of course, prior to Kuda, I've been a software engineer almost my entire career. I studied computer science, both in first degree, second degree, and I've been a software engineer as a software developer myself. I've been engineering manager and now a CTO at one of the leading digital banks in the country. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Musti. And now to kick off the conversation, today we are going to be focusing on the topic around the recipe for successful technical talents, what you need to succeed beyond just your technical skills. We understand that this program is meant to help you build your technical skills and help create like a better digital future for Nigeria as a whole. But we also understand how there's a need to prioritize more than your technical growth. There's also a need to prioritize your growth across soft skills. And this conversation, with the help of Gifts and with the help of Musti, would focus on some of the insights, tips, and tricks that people have had multiple years of experience in the industry. So they're going to be sharing their tips and tricks to how you can scale your career in tech. So the first question that I have, and I'm going to address this to Musti, and it's about the rapidly evolving technological landscape that we have, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa as well. Earlier today, when I was giving a talk, I had mentioned how the landscape in Africa is going to be seeing a lot of newbie developers. Now, also, when it comes to hiring, there is a larger competition for people who are trying to get maybe their first job experience, their first job opportunities. So how can these technical talents who are participating in this program, how can they stand out, and stay ahead of the curve in this evolving landscape of ours? So that question is to you, Musti.
Thanks, Ada. Look, speaking specifically to software engineers or software developers or anyone in tech that is sort of doing the technical stuff. As you mentioned, in the rapidly evolving technology landscape, I think a couple of things that you can do to stay ahead of the curve and help you give you that extra edge that you need, that may be the decider and gives you that breakthrough that you want. I think the first and foremost, the most important thing you have to have is to know the fundamentals. That is, master the fundamentals of the skills that is required of you. When you understand the fundamentals of software development, in the case of software engineer, it helps a lot. Things like algorithm, things like data structure, design patterns. These days, we discovered that we have a lot of people who are into tech, but the fundamentals of technology design and software development are still eluding a lot of people. A lot of people don't have the basic foundational required knowledge. So, and these are probably because we have so many frameworks these days that does a lot of things. People just get things done without necessarily understanding how and why they work the way they do. So if you understand the basics and you master the fundamentals, it's going to give you that edge. That is one thing you should take note of. Another thing is also to invest your time in continuous learning. You have to definitely be someone that derives pleasure and joy in continuous learning. The technology industry, especially software development, is not stagnant. It's a fluid and dynamic industry. And things are coming up almost on a daily basis, So you have to stay ahead of the curve and continue to learn. Another thing you should do is to expand your skill set. Don't get stuck in one language, in one framework, in one technology. Broaden your horizon, expand your skill set. Be curious to know every other things that you could lay your hands upon. It's going to help you a lot, And also, I think you must be someone that embrace challenge, because as a software engineer or anyone in technology for that matter, your primary objective is to provide solution. So if your primary goal is to provide solution, then you cannot be someone who does not like problem or challenges. So you must be able to embrace challenges. You must be able to see challenge as an opportunity for you to showcase your skills and provide our solutions to the problem. And then another skill set that would help you stay ahead of the curve is to be someone that like feedback and enjoys collaboration. You cannot be a solo player in the technology. You've got to embrace collaborations and understand and agree and understand feedback mechanism and make proper use of it. Collaboration is going to help you a lot to develop your skill set and give you that extra advantage that you need. One other thing I think is really, really important is how you think. And you must, it's what we call, you need to learn how to think in a system, how to think in systems rather than thinking in a silo solution. If you see a problem, as an example, you're building a solution that requires payment to buy clothes, as an instance. You have to think that you have to approach that solutions in a way that payment solutions you're building can also be applicable to shoes, can also be applicable to every other thing, not necessarily limiting it to clothing alone. So you must learn how to think in systems rather than thinking in silos of each problems as a whole. And most importantly, be a product person. As a software engineer or software developer, you have to be a product person inherently. You must understand the problem you're trying to solve, and you must understand how that solution you're providing, how it's going to fix the problem of the users that are going to be using the system, and ultimately how that solutions that you've provided is going to make money to those who are promoting the solution. So you have to be an all-round thinker. I think if you can incorporate all of this together, it's going to give you that edge above every other person that you're competing with at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Misty. And I think that one thing that resonated well with me is, the part about being a product person and also being solution oriented, which I feel like quite a number of newbies who are coming into tech and especially specifically in software engineering fail to understand. We see a lot of people who want to keep learning and learning over and over again without wanting to go out there and build out something. So I think I'll take the next question to Gift. Now, from all of the multiple things that you do, Gift, I know that, you handle so many things. How are you able to manage your time? I know that this program it might get a bit time intensive, for some of those who are joining. For some people, they might be used to handling this with a couple of other things that they're doing. For some people, it might be their first time. So what would you advise? What strategies would you advise to these talents who on how they can effectively manage their time and prioritize tasks in a demanding work environment, even beyond this technical training program?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ada. I believe that working in tech can be very intensive and also involves a lot of different processes, right? I'll speak to how I'm able to manage my time and also provide tips that I feel like will be very helpful to people that are also in this program. So for me, I like to put things that I'm doing in notes. I don't know, I use like the typical style. I know people might use digital tools for this. I also do that, but I like to just see things that I want to do every morning in front of me. So I write out like a to-do list of things that I'm going to be doing, and I like to also prioritize them. So prioritizing them based on the level of intensity of the task. So maybe do the easiest things first in the morning when I wake up, and do the more intense things during the day. It depends on what I'm doing, right? But I like to have everything listed down so that I know. And also for me, I really enjoy the fact that I can tick out things out of my to-do list. Like that just gives me joy when I'm able to do that. So I think the first thing is just thinking about the things that you have to do, writing them down, and then also prioritizing them based on either the most intense one or the easiest one, depending on how you work. If you like to do things, if you like to see quick wins, like you like to do things and see, oh, this is it, I have done it, let me move on to the next one, then you can prioritize based on low priority and then move on to high priority tasks. You can do that based on what works for you. Then another thing that I do is I like to block out time on my calendar. I know people do this, but I do it for everything, right? I even block out time for going to the gym. What helps me a lot is the fact that I get reminders. So I know that, okay, every morning at 8, I am doing the specific thing. And then Google Calendar also recently added this feature called focus work or focus time. I'm not sure, one of those. Essentially, if you are going to be doing some tasks that you feel like you want to be focused, you don't want any distractions, you can use that feature by blocking out time. Maybe you want to focus to like learn JavaScript every week for like 2 hours. You can put that in your calendar so that you get reminders and also notifications for when that time, because things are happening in your life, you might easily just forget, or maybe you have a task to complete, you can block out time on your calendar, right? So that's another thing that I like to do. One other thing that I've tried, I honestly think that it works, but I don't do it very often, is something called the Pomodoro technique. So essentially is you set like a block of time for you to work and then another short block of time for you to rest. The honest truth about working for anybody, nobody has like ample focus for 8 hours straight. If we say that we do, we are just lying to ourselves, right? So you find that people work for like blocks and then they rest, or they take out time to do something else and then they come back to focus work. So the Pomodoro technique essentially is, there are different tools you can use for this online, is you set a block of time for like 25, 30 minutes, or depending on how long you want to focus. So let's say 25 minutes, you do focus work, you don't do anything else, nothing is distracting you. Once you finish doing the 25 minutes block, then you take like 5 minutes rest time, maybe check Twitter or check your emails or check something else. And then you come back, reset the timer. If you check on Google, just search for Pomodoro timer. There are so many examples that you could use. I find that this is very helpful when you want to do something. When you want to do a specific task and you want to assign like a few hours for you to do it. So you can also use this. Another thing that is also very helpful, because I find that people are easily distracted. You can have notifications on your phone or on your laptop that can easily just take your attention out. And then you find that you spent a few minutes or hours doing something else that you're not supposed to be doing. So one thing I would advise is also try to limit distractions as much as possible. There are some laptops that come with do not disturb mode. Once you turn that on, automatically all the notifications on your laptop is turned off. Or you can easily just delete things, right? If you want to be focused, don't put WhatsApp on your laptop. Don't put like Twitter notifications on, the things that could easily take your attention away from work. Make sure that you don't have that on your laptop. Also, your environment can be very distracting, right? So if you want to do focused work, make sure you're in an environment that does not have too much noise or people that will distract you. You can also use different devices to help you stay in focused mode. I know that some people like listening to music, some people like listening to white noise. Whatever works for you, really, just making sure that you have less distraction so that you can focus and do meaningful work. And yeah, I think those are the major things that I've tried. I personally find that I do a lot of different things and I context switch a lot, meaning that I can be writing code right now, the next minute I'm recording a video, the next minute I'm doing something else. So I like to, schedule things out on my calendar, use all the tips that I've mentioned here just to help me stay productive. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Gift, for that. I will throw the next question to Musti, but I think that one thing that you have mentioned, which I would also say that it resonates again with me, is the Pomodoro technique. And I think it's something that I use a lot of times. So the next question is to Musti, and this question is one that I have also received quite a number of times, especially for technical talents that are transitioning from academia into the real life work environment. We already know how in our Nigerian educational system, especially for those who are studying computer science or tech related courses, the curriculums are a bit outdated, and sometimes there's very little experience you get and when it's time to actually come into the work environment. So to Musti, My question would be, how can these tech talents, effectively manage their transition from academia, schooling, whatever level it is that they are, but we will just categorize it as tertiary education. How can they transition from that into the professional tech industry? I know that, yes, one part is to, take courses like this program they're participating in, but beyond that, how can they effectively transition in a way that they're able to bridge, the theoretical knowledge that they're getting from school or from whatever program it is they're getting with the real time, practical application. And I think this question also resonates with what you said about, being a product person, providing solutions. How can they fuse these two different worlds and different ideas into being more productive?
Yeah, thanks, Ada. Look, there are different ways to skin a cat, but I'm just going to take it from my own experience, because one way or the other, before we all turn to the professional that we are today, we've all passed through the school system at one point in time in our lives. So, I mean, firstly, it's important to recognize the skill set that you already have, because you are not empty, even though you just finished school, you have some sort of skills. As an example, as a PhD student or master student, or even just an undergraduate, I mean, just a graduate of PSC, you have valuable experience, perhaps in critical thinking. You can do research. You can write. You can write academic paper, you can do data modeling, you can do sort of things, even from the project that you did while you were in school. It is a skill set. So you did have some some values and some skill sets already. So you need to identify that and be able to highlight that perhaps in your CV or communicate it effectively to whoever that you're talking to. I think the next thing also is now to identify the gaps, that is the shortcomings, the areas that you need improvement upon. So as a software developer, as an example, perhaps you are interviewing or looking to interview for a technical role. So you must understand and identify the areas that you need to improve upon. If you need to take some crash courses, of course, you've gone through the universities, you've learned the theory. So you now need to take part perhaps in the boot camp to brush up your practical knowledge and experiences. You need to take some crash courses on maybe you want to switch career a little bit. Maybe you want to take some crash course on product management or some specific programming language that you did not do while you were in school. You need to be able to identify these areas that you need improvement upon and be able to improve upon them. In addition to these, technical skills that are applicable in industries are crucial. You must understand it. These include programming language, as I mentioned earlier, problem solving, technical writing. You must be able to improve in these areas. Furthermore, it's important for you to develop a growth mindset. These are things that you will not be exposed to while you are in school or while you're still in your academic study. You must develop a growth mindset and a commitment to ongoing education. Education does not stop in the university alone. You have to be committed to ongoing education because the tech world is constantly changing, and that is critical. This continuous education could involve, continuous learning through online courses, coding boot camps, and even self-study. Finally, transitioning from academia to industry requires a shift in mindset. You must have that. You need to realign your thinking to match the mentality of the profession that you are entering into. That is very important. Then this might involve adjusting to a new or unfamiliar role in an industry, jobs, and embracing the newness and the challenges of the switch. It is critical. It's going to be challenging, but you must learn how to embrace challenge. We discussed about that earlier. The transition from academia to the professional tech industry involves recognizing and leveraging existing skills that you have, identifying and developing the lacking skills that you do not have, and then adjusting your mindset to align with the industry that you are going into. This process is not a one-time task. No, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process. You have to be well aware of this. It's not going to happen just one time. It's an ongoing journey that requires continuous learning and adaptation. And I think if you can apply this, it's going to help you transition smoothly and effectively. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Musti. I find that all your words are really apt and touched to being, and I really do hope that those who are listening and tuning into this are able to take at least 1 or 2 notes from what you have said. The next question is to Gift. So I'm going to alternate these questions, but I do have quite a couple of very interesting questions. So my next question is to Gift. And this question is around, how with the evolving landscape, with more and more developers coming in, developer technologies, you are a developer advocate, and we're seeing more newbies coming to tech. These people, most of them, this would most likely be their first foray into technology or into any technical program. There's so many technical languages out there. There's so many developer tools out there. How would you advise, these newbies to make a very proper decision while trying to create a path for them in their learning, that's as regards utilizing tools, as regards utilizing, different distinct texts and distinct tools, languages, so that they don't fall into that, either tutorial loophole or, just practicing and working with multiple languages at the same time?
Yeah, sure. Personally, I would say that it's super easy for you to fall into tutorial hell, like you said, when you're learning, because there's just so many things online and you need direction, right? So when you're starting out, whether you choose to do front-end development or you choose to do data science, whatever area in tech you choose, I think the first thing you need to do is to understand first what exactly is the role about, like what are the important things that I need to learn. I find that there is like different roadmaps online that you could use. One specifically that I like to recommend to people is called roadmap.sh. Yeah, it's basically a website that has a roadmap for specific technologies that you're learning, whether it's front end, whether it's back end, whether it's data science. The reason why I advise you to use a roadmap is so that you're not overwhelmed with different things coming at you. Like maybe someone you speak to is doing front end and you're doing React, and maybe you read an article that said you must be using Vue and you're confused, which path do I take, right? So that's why it's important to find, so for your specific field that you're trying to learn, try to find a roadmap that has been developed by maybe a professional or at least a group of people that are very vast in the field. And what this also helps you with is kind of like a setting for you to know where you should be starting from, and then the path or pace that you're going to be heading to, right? Because a lot of people that are specifically learning, for example, front-end, I'll use front-end a lot in my example because that's how I started as well. They hear that, oh, you need to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as the basic, which is good. But there is more, right? And in order for you not to be confused or overwhelmed, it's important for you to follow like a path or a pathway. So you see that, okay, I need to learn these things to have like valuable skills in the market, but what else do I need? You also need to learn about web performance. You need to learn about accessibility. You need to learn a framework. There's so many other things that come, but you don't need to learn them all at the start. Because I like to see your tech career as a marathon. It's not like you need to learn everything in your first year. You can be a front-end developer and still continue upskilling for like 10 years, right? And also, we all know that the tech industry keeps evolving, like new things are going to be coming up, but it's important for you to know like the beginning, the path, like where you're starting from, what do I need to know? And also see the future, like see the next few months, what do I need to know? And is there like resources online that I can use? Is there a course that I can use? Is there someone that I know that is already in the field that I could ask, questions about what their experience has been like? So I think having all of this in mind is going to be helpful. And then second thing I also want to point out is not just reading or following resources online, it's also like building your skills. And how you can easily do that is by building projects, right? So when you find a path, or if you follow the resource that I gave you, roadmap.sh, if you go there, you would see, like, for example, front end, they start with what is the internet. And then there's like different paths you could follow to either learn a framework or learn CSS or learn something. As you learn, as you go through those paths, don't just read it. Don't just read the resource. Don't just watch the video. Don't just, go through it and say, oh, I know the high level of this thing. Also try to practice, say practice makes perfect. How can you actually show an employer that you know these things is by showing them what you've built, right? So spend a lot of time learning the things that you should know, but also build projects. And you could start small. You could start by maybe making a very simple front page, like as if you do front end, right? Or you make like a very simple website for yourself, like a portfolio, but then go further, like challenge yourself to do more complex things. And all of this also is helping you build a portfolio. By the time you're ready to start looking for a job, you already have like sample projects that you've built. You don't just take your CV to the employer that, oh, I know React, I know CSS, I know this, but you also put in there that, oh, you know this, but you have something to show for it, right? So that's my advice for people that are starting out and how they can actually use resources, free resources online to help them and grow their careers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gift. That was really, really helpful. The next questions that I have, or rather, I'm going to ask a question. This question is going to help with the next couple of questions that I have. So earlier on, when I was introducing both of you, for you, Gift, I had mentioned, you're a developer advocate at Cloudflare. For you, Musa, I had mentioned how you're a CTO and co-founder at Kuda. And seeing that this is a program that's focused on people who are most likely getting into tech for the first time, I would love for both of you to give a little bit about, what your role involves. For you, Musti, as the Chief Technical Officer, what does it look like for you? What is your day-to-day activity like? For you, Gift, as a developer advocate, what is your day-to-day activity like? What are you really centered around? So I'll start with Gift, and then we'll go to Musti.
Okay, yeah, sure. So my role as a developer advocate is focused on one thing. It's on educating developers that are using the platform, which is Cloudflare, and also helping them be successful with the tools. So some of my day-to-day involves like creating educational materials to help them learn the tool. So for new people that are not familiar with Cloudflare, specifically Cloudflare workers, which is where the team where I work in, I help them by making videos to teach them how the tool works. I also do workshops, right? I teach people how to use Cloudflare, how to build full stack applications with it. I also go to conferences to talk to developers, right? Because our core customers are developers, and the best place to meet them is at events and conferences. So I also would go to conferences to talk about the products and also hear from the developers that are already using it, the ones that are not familiar with it, try to get their take on, like, after this, of course, after they listen to the talk that I've given, try to hear from them if they understood it, get feedback, and take it back to the product team that is building the platform. So it's kind of a two-way street at the end of the day, where I'm like the face interfacing with the developers outside, but I also bring back feedback from the developers that I speak to back to the engineers and product managers that are working on the products. So yeah, that's pretty much what my job entails. I think another part of it that I really, really enjoy is the fact that I teach people, because before I switched to developer advocacy, I was working as a software engineer, and I would spend like a lot of my free time doing this. So it just gives me joy that I get to do it as my full-time job right now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Gift. So to you, Musti, what's your role like as a CTO? What's your day-to-day activity like?
Well, thanks, Ada. Well, my day-to-day activities transcends just Chief Technology Officer, because fortunately for me, I'm also and that means a whole lot of things differently. But if I'm to limit it to just being a Chief Technology Officer of Kuda, I'll say, well, broadly speaking, I think I'm also fortunate in that respect because we have like really, really good team. I think things that we've been able to do effectively. We've got like really competent and mature team who makes my work, relatively easier for me. But in the broader sense of it, there are about 5 major area I think that are sort of like important that I focus on a day-to-day. The first one being the technology strategy, the overall technology strategy. As a CTO, I'm responsible for the overall technology strategy of our business. And what that means is that every day I have to ensure that all our technology strategy aligns with the business objectives. And we need to stay ahead of the curve because we are offering a banking services using digital platform. Everything that you do today in your bank, you can do it right on your mobile phone. To achieve that, it means we have to incorporate a lot of advanced technology, to achieve that. So I'm in charge of ensuring that technology strategy align with business objectives. Another thing that I concern myself about is security and compliance. Obviously, as a bank, even as a technology company at all, you have to take security really, really serious. Then the fact that the kind of service that we are offering means we have to take that another notch further. So security is an area that I concern myself about on a daily basis. We need to ensure that your money is safe and you are able to transact easily and in a safe manner. Another area is also innovation and research. I oversee that on a daily basis. We're looking out for better way to do what you're currently doing and not better ways that you can achieve it. So innovation and research, we continue to do that. The use of new technology to advance and make financial services easily affordable and accessible to people. I definitely concern myself about that on a daily basis. And of course, leading the team and developing leadership among, of course, we have to plan for the future. While I'm here today, we need to plan for the future, what's going to happen when we're not there. So we need to develop our team, take them through leadership by example, training, developing the team, not just their technical skills alone, their soft skills and their leadership skills. I think those are kind of like my responsibility as well. And finally, infrastructure and operations. Obviously, the platforms upon which we run all our technology stacks, I concern myself about it because if we do not plan that effectively, it means cost can skyrocket a lot quicker and you will not be able to offer affordable services to the customer. So you have to work every day to ensure that infrastructure and operations aligns with the goals of the organization and of the business. So these are kind of like the area that I focus on every day as a CTO at Kuda.
Okay, thank you very much, both of you. So now to the main question that I wanted to ask. Both of you have mentioned how you started out from software engineering roles and, diverted into engineering management or leadership, and for you, diverted into developer advocacy. For people who are listening, who want to explore other routes similar to what you have explored. So I'll start with Musti. What is the career path like for somebody who wants to, focus on engineering management, from being a software engineer to going into engineering management? What is that career path like? And if we could keep our responses very brief, that would be really, really great. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, look, there's a saying that usually say a good software engineer is not necessarily a good people manager. And I've witnessed that as a business owner and also as an engineering manager, as a CTO at Kuda. I've witnessed this firsthand. So the point I'm trying to make is, broadly speaking, you can say there are two career paths as a core software engineer for you. Either you go on the management side, that is one, or you go on the deeper technical side. So, and you are the one to choose this. Unfortunately, no one is going to choose it for you. What a lot of companies usually make mistakes on is, oh, you've been in this company for so long and you've been doing amazing job. So it's only natural for you to be leading a team as the team lead, but so many engineers, even though they are amazing at what they do and they've been doing it for so long, they have a lot of experiences and whatnot, they still do not want to manage people. So you are the one to decide which route you want to take. If you want to take the management, engineering management route, it's up to you. If you want to take just the technical route, it is also up to you. So, but the point is that irrespective of which of the paths that you're going to take, one thing is certain: you have to really, really be good at what you do. And that benchmark, that metrics, you are the one to measure yourself and be truthful to yourself about it. The sky is so big that it can accommodate whatever of your dream that you. And of course, there is still the entrepreneurial. I mean, that's one of the parts I took. I became an entrepreneur. So you can also become an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. There's no limit to what you can achieve at the end of the day. Just know your strength and always play to your strength. And then, I think that is really important if you have that at the back of your mind. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Musti. And to you, Gift, what is that path? What does that path look like? And I think I would also add, what are the pointers that they should look out for or try to take in while trying to, go through that path into developer advocacy?
Okay. I think that there is no defined way for people to switch from software engineering to developer advocacy. I would say mine is by chance, honestly. I've been doing software engineering now before switching for 5 years, I would say. And even while I was doing that, I find myself doing a lot of the components of what the job entails for developer advocacy. So when the opportunity came to me, it felt like a no-brainer to take it. But for people that are actually looking for ways to switch into the developer relations sphere, because there's different job components within that, I would say to already know what the role entails. For example, personally, while I was a software engineer, I was writing technical articles. I was doing open source work. I was writing, speaking, these are components of what the main job is. So I was doing a lot of it in my free time, even without it being my full-time job. So I was still doing software engineering, but doing most of that in my free time. And eventually I kind of thought of it and I said to myself that this is kind of pushing me to the developer relations side of things, but I was still fine doing it in my free time until a job opportunity came and I took it. But if you are intentionally looking to switch, what I would say is, first of all, as a developer advocate, you need to have software engineering skills, right? So I would say once you feel like you've been doing software engineering for a few years and you have very good experience in it and you want to explore different areas, there are different areas you can explore, like you can do technical product management, you can do developer relations, right? Then you can now look at the component of the role. So for developer relations, there are different roles in it. Mine is developer advocate. Some other people, their roles is called developer relations engineer. Some is developer educator. So whatever of these roles that you find that you are possibly interested in, I would say look for what are the responsibilities of these people. What do they need to know, right? And already start doing it in your role as a software engineer. So similar to my experience, right? I was already doing most of these things before I switched into it. So that would also help you to show that you can do the job right. Because it's not just the component of the technical skills. You also need to be able to speak to people. You need public speaking skills, all of that. So try to already do a small portion of it in your day job, and then look for opportunities that you can use to migrate from software engineering to developer relations. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Gift. I know that we are almost out of time, so I'm going to ask just two more questions, and I would really love for us to keep our responses very brief. The next question that I have, I'm going to throw it to both of you. So the next question I have is around career mentorship. I do know that a lot of times newbies in tech would reach out to experts, seniors, and request for mentorship. What would you advise for those who are listening? What would you advise as tips they could use to get a mentor in tech? Very briefly. Who would like to go first? Okay. Okay, good. Please do.
Okay. Okay, as regards mentorship, I honestly have like one big tip that I would share that would be very helpful, because I find that a lot of people think that you need to have a physical mentor to be successful, but actually the truth is you don't. And earlier on in my career, I found out that I could have 500 mentors if I would like to. And how did I do that? Um, there are so many people online that are sharing very helpful tips, right? And they are very high up in the industry, but you feel like you don't have access to them, but you do. And essentially, what I'm saying is, you don't need one specific mentor. You can learn from everybody. You can learn from people that have gone way past you. And how do you do this? So, a few things. First, you need to be interacting with them. How do you do this? Through LinkedIn, through Twitter. There are several different professional platforms that are available today. So, look for people that are well established, like well established software engineers. Follow them, interact with them. If they make a tweet about something, you can reply or like or something. And then when you feel comfortable, you can now reach out to them through DMs. Most of these people, their DMs are open. You can ask questions. So the tip that I'll give you is, you don't need one specific person to be your mentor that would like check up on you every day. You can just learn from different people in different industries by following them. And if you feel comfortable, reach out to them, but don't just reach out to them with hello, right? Go and ask them specific. So if you've been following them, you possibly would know what they do, you would know what domain they're in, and you possibly will have some questions around that. So ask them very specific questions so that they can answer you, right? Another platform I would like to share is, now I forget the name, but it's a platform. Let me keep talking if I remember.
List?
Yes, ADP List, yes. So adplist.org, I think, is a platform that has over like 1,000 people that are willing to mentor you, right? So I personally am on ADP Lists, but I don't know if I still have my calendar open, but there are so many other people like me that offer their time, 30 minutes, 1 hour, to help mentor you. So on different fields, product management, software engineering, cybersecurity, whatever. So you just need to sign up for an account and find somebody, schedule a time with them, go with very good questions. Don't just go there expecting.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you,
problem.
but because of time. So I would like,
okay.
Thank you so
I'll just
much.
wrap up. Yeah.
Very briefly, please.
Yeah, just go to ADP List and then follow very important people that would help your career. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi, Musti. How about you? What tips would you give them?
I mean, look, I think Gift sort of summarizes it well in terms of practical steps that you can take. But I think the alternatives I'm going to also, I mean, in addition to what she said, what I'm going to say to you is you can adopt what I call remote mentoring. And what do I mean by that? We're in the age of internet where practically any information about anything or anyone is ready at your fingertips. You could take inspiration by reading about the people you deem fit that you want to be like, learn about their personal journey, learn about their professional journey, learn about what they've done to get to where they are, and the mistakes they've made, how you can avoid it, and most importantly, the sort of work they have put in to get them to where they are. I think if you have access to all of these things, if you can avail yourself the time and resources to be able to know and learn about them, I think you can use that as a springboard and as a stepping stone to further your own aspirations. I think that's just what I have to say regarding that, really. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Misty. Thank you so much, Gift. Before we take questions, I know that there are a couple of questions from the audience, but before we take questions, I just want to ask one last thing. Both of you have been in tech for quite a number of years. How do you stay motivated in your individual roles? And I think that, you could resonate this tip with those who are just literally starting out their careers. In one word, or in one sentence, how do you stay motivated?
Well, for me, it's about solution. I'm a curious human being, and I try to just understand how things work and then make things work as well. That doesn't work in my own little space. I think that's is a singular sort of motivation for me. When there's a challenge, when there's a problem, how can we fix it? Is it fixable? What do we need to do? Those are the kind of questions that keeps popping up in my head that keeps me going up until now. And even till now, where I am, those questions never cease coming. They still keep coming in because there's always challenges, no matter the situation or the stage you are in your life. So I think if you can sort of be restless and not settle for just mediocrity, so to say, or not settle for status quo. You just want to challenge it and get better at it. I think that's a singular purpose that can keep you motivated, really. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Musti. How about you, Gift, in one sentence?
Yeah, I'll just add to what Musti said. So for me, it's just always staying curious and always challenging myself to learn and grow. Because in tech, nothing is stagnant. There's always something that is going to be evolving. So I try to keep abreast of everything, especially as related to my role. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you both so much. I can see a couple of questions. So the first question I would ask is from Akiri, and he says, how would you advise a non-technical student to overcome fear and begin a career in tech? I think that we have touched on this a bit, but I don't know who wants to take this question very briefly.
Maybe ladies first.
Okay.
Okay,
So
Gift,
the
please.
question is about how to overcome fear and start. Okay. I
A
find
career in
that,
tech.
yeah, fear is your enemy, right? In my career, I have, because of fear, lost opportunities that I regretted later. So I now have a mentality of just go for it, regardless of how difficult it is, right? So in your situation, if you want to start, just start, right? It could be that, yeah, you're scared of what will happen in like the next few months. Don't let that bother you. If you already know what area in tech you're interested in, getting into, look for resources that would help you start. And is this it's a step-by-step process, right? You don't need to know everything as you start. Just keep learning and improving yourself. But if you are scared and you don't do anything, I promise you, time will keep passing and you'll see that you stayed like a year and you've not done anything about it. So yeah, my advice to you is to just start and just take it step by step.
All right. Thank you very much, Gift. So I would ask the next question to Musti, and I think we can wrap up from there. This question is from Victor Luke, and he's saying, as a beginner who has a dream to accomplish a whole lot, what would be your advice and what should I focus on? He or she wasn't specific with the field that they wanted to focus on or they are starting out in. But yeah, what would be your advice and what should they focus on? They have like a lot to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, look, well, I mean, as much as I would love the question to be a little bit more specific, but I'll still try to answer it as much as I can. I think having a lot to accomplish and what you should focus on depends on a whole lot of things. But generally speaking, I think you must be courageous enough to face whatever it is that you want to achieve. Understand, take lessons from those who have done similar or exactly what you're trying to achieve. Take a lesson from them. Try to understand their path. Trying to understand their challenges. Try to understand what they've done to get to where they are. I think that's extremely important. And also make your goal specific. Make it smart. There's a smart word that we use in product management or project management. Make it smart. Make it specific. Measurable. Achievable. Things like that. So, and also generally, don't be afraid to take risk. I'm not saying you should take unnecessary risk, but don't be afraid to take calculated risk. Is extremely important because you're already at ground zero or whatever level you are only hoping to go to the next level. If you are afraid and you don't take that jump or they don't take that leap, you're never going to leave where you are. So be free to see things from the perspective of what is the worst case scenario that can happen and just go for it. It doesn't matter what anyone says. The sky is never the limit to what you can achieve if you put your mind
Thank
into
you
it.
very much. Thank you very much, Musti. And thank you also again, Gift. I think we're about to wrap up now, but before we close this off, how can the audience connect with you if you're okay with them reaching out to you, to continue this conversation or ask any other questions that they have? How can they reach out to you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm a very silent social media user, only LinkedIn. So I think just search me Mustafa on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to take as many as I can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Gift?
I'm also on LinkedIn, Gift Egoinu, but you can also find me on Twitter. And someone was mentioning from the chat, ADP list. I have an account there, but you can also follow me there. Whenever I have opening, you can book a time or a session to have chat with me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Gift. Thank you, Musti. And for myself as well, if anybody would like to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn at Ada Oyum or on socials at Kolukudes. I'm going to hand over the mic to Miriam. Thank you once again, Gift and Musti. Over to you, Miriam.
Okay. Wow, what a lovely session. It was so insightful. I've learned a lot as well. Thank you so much. So on behalf of the Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, would like to express our profound gratitude to the exceptional speakers and also our esteemed moderator. Thank you so much, Mustafa Musti. Thank you so much, Gift, and Adan Duka. Thank you so much for your invaluable contributions to this session. TREE-MTT is not only focusing on providing technical talents, but also ensuring that you get the necessary skills to be placed in various job opportunities. So we are not only focused on technical skills, as I said, but also ensuring that we adopt a holistic approach to ensure everyone gets the life skills and also the technicalities to get yourself employed. So thank you so much, and for joining us, the fellow and also the listeners of this program. We look forward to having you in our upcoming session on Tuesday. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.